Hello there, fellow nerds, and welcome back to our mini-series, Book Talk Week 4. The book that was chosen for today is A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki, and specifically, how it relates to the Godzilla franchise. Let's jump right into it, shall we? Small note, by Godzilla franchise, we will be talking about the Japanese-made Shin Godzilla produced by Toho Animations. On to discussion. Now, you might need some convincing, so here are the first points of connection between the two. And that is their shared criticisms of the Japanese government and their inability to help those in need, and that they were both inspired by the 2011 disasters. Now, in A Tale for the Time Being, it is shown that the school system, a function of the government, did not do anything significant to help Nao's bullying, but in fact made it worse, as everyone knew she tried to go to authorities and continued the harassment even further in even more degrading and dehumanizing ways. Haruki number 2, despite being able to code literal multiverse accessing robots, we will not be going into that, was jobless, the fault of his untreated depression and the job market imploding. The bullying leads to Nao almost killing an innocent student out of anger and frustration, ditching school and becoming an underage prostitute. Ozeki shows what can happen when the government does not do enough to help its citizens, and how it can lead to horrible scenarios, and if left to evolve, death. Furthermore, Ozeki mentions how she originally had a complete book, but after the 2011 disasters, she felt that she needed to add more and change parts to match the darker undertones of what had happened. The book also briefly mentions the Japanese government's general lack of aid to those who were affected by the 2011 disasters. Similarly, in Shin Godzilla, we see how the work is inspired by the 2011 series of disasters in Japan. The origin story of Shin Godzilla, when compared to old Godzilla films and universes, point this out. The Eldritch Horror was a mutant that evolved from nuclear waste dumped in the ocean by the Japanese government, which was a big point of contention during the cleaning up of the Fukushima reactor and garnered international controversy. Compared to the original, which was just some mutated random dinosaur. The movie at large also is generally accepted to be criticism of the handling of the 2011 disasters, with how the movie centers on the bureaucratic process and how many lives were lost because of the lies and speed the government decided to employ. In fact, the majority of the movie doesn't even have Godzilla on screen, but instead, it decides to focus on office politics. The movie highlights how, in the face of disaster, humankind needs strong, quick, decisive, and smart leadership. Now, on to my third point. The third point is that one of the main themes in both works is that the greatest enemy to humankind is itself. Humankind gave birth to so many of the problems present in each work, such as bullying and forced isolation, terrible economies, and plasma-breathing 300-something-foot eldritch horrors. This is especially apparent in Shin Godzilla's fifth phase. After the beast is frozen and defeated, it is shown that it was in the process of evolving into its fifth evolution, which is a bunch of zoom in, enhance, a bunch of humanoid creatures, which further proves my point of one of Shin Godzilla's central themes being that humankind is its own worst enemy. Examples of this theme in A Tale for the Time Being are pretty obvious and abundant, such as the Japanese soldiers abusing Kei and Haruki number 1, and so much more. Overall, one can see the connections between the two. While they are in different genres and mediums, the trauma, questions, criticisms, and answers in both pieces are evidently linked. Therefore, Now is Godzilla. Thank you for listening to this week's book talk, and we hope to see you next time.